Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Anya and in today's video I wanted to do a spring inspired look because fingers crossed we're hopefully getting spring in Norway. We literally had, not this weekend past, but the weekend before, 3 days of beautiful sunny weather. I got to spend some time outside. It was glorious. And then Tuesday rolled around and we got snow. And the snow is now finally melted again. I'm a little bit in the mood to put winter behind me, which is maybe a little bit weird to say because this is what I want to base my look on today. This is the Fenty Killawatt Foil Freestyle Highlighter Duo in 7-Day Weekend and Poolside. So it's a purple duo. I wanted to do like a pastel purple look. I wanted to do this because I haven't played with this in a while and I want to put this on my eyes and potentially also my face, we will see. I've already done my base makeup and my eyebrows, so let's just get into the eyeshadow. I've already primed my eyes and set my eyelid with a powder because I don't like working on top of a tacky base. I'm going to go into this lighter lavender shade and I'm going to just start by putting that into the crease. I'm then going to dip into 7-Day Weekend. I'm just going to use my finger and I'm going to place that on the inner half of the eyelid. I'm going to take a different finger and dip into Poolside. I just want to place that on the outer part just a little bit. The Poolside shade is not as shiny as the 7-Day Weekend shades. I'm using the same brush that I used to apply the shade in the crease with, but with no additional product. I'm going to blend the edges a little bit and just see how they will blend together. Poolside blended almost entirely away on the eye, so I'm just going to dip into it with the brush and build it. Also taking a little bit of it into the crease. That took it a little bit more blue than I had intended. It's fine, I'm going to roll with it. I'm just going to take a clean, super fluffy brush and blend the edges because I do still want it diffused. I'm then taking a tiny brush and the 7-Day Weekend shade, which is the lightest one. I'm going to do my inner corner and a little bit along the lower lash line. I'm then going to take the lavender shade from the NYX palette and put that on the lower lash line. I'm also taking a tiny bit of Poolside. This colour reminds me of bluebells. I think that's what they're called. They look like these, they are flowers, and they're usually the sign of spring for me because we get them all around the area where I live. When I see the bluebells, and we also have a white version of them, so they are the same plant, they look identical, only one of them is completely white and one of them is blue. When I see those, I know it's spring. The combination of Poolside, when that is a little bit like watered down, which it gets when I blend it or when I mix it into the shade from the NYX palette, it reminds me of bluebells, and that's kind of the vibe I was going for. Well, not exactly, because I was aiming a little bit more for this sort of light pinky lavender shade instead of the more deeper true lavender. I don't know how to describe colours. I'm taking a tiny bit of 7-Day Weekend and I'm just adding that to the centre of the lid. On my waterline, I'm going to add the Colourpop Creme Gel Liner. This is in Crybaby and it's just a light purple. And this was kind of the colour that I based today's look on. So the Fenty and this one, they work perfectly together. I do have this one here. This is the How Many Carats Diamond Bomb, also from Fenty, which is a clear like highlighter with a lot of silvery sparkly glitter on it. I'm going to add a little bit of that to like the centre of the lid and like the inner part of the lid. I'm going to try not to get it anywhere else. It has a tendency to make something look just wet. I'm not sure if my lights are catching that. That just adds a little bit of sparkle. I'm going to put mascara on and I will be back so that we can try and figure out what to do on the cheeks. And that is mascara on. I always feel like I have to be careful with mascara on pastel looks because my lashes are weird. I spend about 3 to 5 minutes curling them because otherwise you won't be able to see them at all. But they tend to clump together no matter what I do. That's how they are. But I always feel like that looks like too much when I'm wearing soft pastel looks, so I tried to be natural and stuff with them. Now for bronzer and blush. So I don't own a cream blush that is cool toned. I barely own a powder blush that is cool toned, and I don't know if I want to put that all over my face. Part of me kind of does, but it's also going to take over entirely. I think I'm going to keep it on the eyes, but I don't want to go super warm on the cheeks. So I have the Fenty Matchsticks in Amber, which I can normally not use on its own because it is very cool toned. It's a cool tone brown, but I think I'm going to use this on its own as a little bit of a bronzer on the forehead and maybe to do a bit of light contouring. I've brought a couple of lipsticks to see what I want to use as blush. I have an idea for one, which is Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, because it's a cool toned pink but kind of nude still, so it still retains a little bit of brown. Don't know if that made much of a visible difference on the camera, but it helped a little bit in real life. I'm also going to do a little bit just right there. One of my least favourite things to do is contour, because I can never do it in a way that it looks nice on me. I always feel like it looks super obvious, and it always ends up much stronger than what I want, purely because I'm so pale. So this is one of my favourite things when I get it right, because you don't really notice that it's there. It just adds, you can kind of see it here, just a touch of shadow, but it's not super obvious where it is. I can't do that anywhere else with this because it looks like I've put dirt all over my face. And I can't put more on because it will look like I've put dirt on my cheeks. Now the lipstick, as I said, is Charlotte Tilbury's Pillow Talk. And they describe it as like a nude pink. That's was swatched in the worst place possible. It's probably as cool toned as I could feel comfortable going on the cheeks. I'm going to use my fingers and then I'm going to pat that in. I always start applying cream blush sort of on the outer part of the cheek, and then I blend it a little bit up into the temples and down. I apply my blush very, very high. Yeah, I think that looks okay. A little bit more here. Just adds a little bit of a flush. I think I'm gonna put this on my lips as well. I just rubbed that in because I think that it looks a little bit nicer when it's a little bit diffused. My skin is very glowy today. That's just how it's decided to be. I'm gonna let it be glowy because I kind of like it. I think I'm gonna call it a day. That is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed it. I really, really like it. This turned out almost exactly the way I thought it would. I was worried about bringing in Poolside because I thought it would be a bit too dark for what I wanted. It wasn't the best product I've ever used because it ended up more sheer than I expected. But then again, that also did work out for the best because that was kind of what I wanted. So I'm not displeased. I do quite like how it looks. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have used any of the products that I used, tell me what you think of them in the comments below. And I will see you again soon. Bye!